Hello viewers, you are welcome back to News Trend. Today we are here with an update on the saga between Seeking, who is the TikToker, and the General Overseer of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Pastor E.A. Adeboye. Last week, we did a program where we talked about him releasing a video where he used some very, abusive words to the General Overseer. And following that, he was arrested, But the General Overseer, being a peaceful, a peaceful man, he pleaded on his behalf that he should be released and forgiven and just be let go. And that was on Friday. But we woke up on Monday to the church saying that no, that is not the case, that because the case has now gone beyond the church and gone beyond the General Overseer. It is now a police case. So they would rather that the case run its full course and then he's given the punishment that is due to him for what he has done, and they are not interfering, which I think is not a very bad idea. What do you think about that, sir?
Also like the General Overseer, a man of peace. I always like to come in peace. But you see, I've always explained it to people, especially to those who believe in all the religions that we practice in Africa and Nigeria. Go and check the Quran. Go and check the Bible. Even for the traditionalists, it urges you to quickly make peace with your accusers or anybody you have anything against or has something against you. When this matter came up and the General Overseer said he wasn't even aware of the arrest of this man until it was brought to his attention. A lot of people doubted him and doubted the authenticity of that pronunciation until the concerned Christian Youth Forum came up and said, yes, Pastor Adeboye doesn't know about this. We wrote the petition against Seeking, the TikToker. And by the way, like I emphasized in the last video, curiously, this man, who is from the southwestern part of Nigeria, where people take a lot of pride in culture, which rests on respect. That man's name is Olumide Ogunsanwo John, who is supposed to be from a Christian home, acting in such a manner that did not, and I am saying it even without knowing his family, reflect the values of his own family. But for the sake of making money, or turning himself into an activist, decided to use very foul and degrading language on a man who is old enough to be his grandfather. Because like I said on the initial program, this man says he was born in the 1990s. Let's give it to him that he was born in 1990. He can only be 35 years old by now. And Pastor Adeboye turned 82. The last time he had his birthday. So, unfortunately, building on what I said, when something happens and you don't quickly make amends when people are commenting on it, you still feel I'm the one who has happened on the scene and everybody is following me because I'm able to abuse people. And the thing becomes a government versus you case. It's not as easy as going to withdraw individual to individual accusation in court or in the police station. Because you must, at that point, go through the whole system of going to court, getting a bail like he has done now, and going to seek the consent of the court for you to settle out of court. That's if his pride will allow him to settle out of court.
Okay.
That's if his pride will allow him to.
Pride comes before a fall.
It doesn't matter. Some people prefer to fall and die completely.
Wow. Okay.
Because when you, like we said, go through those who have been commenting on this matter, the very essence of the point he made in one of those videos about Pastor Adeboye not making a public condemnation of the happenings in this country now, when compared to what happened when he and some others had a peaceful protest about the hardship during the government of former President Goodluck Jonathan, is valid. Nobody can dispute that. But how did you say it? That's what the people are contesting. I read a commentary by the man we all popularly know as the Duke of Shomolu, Joseph Edgar, where he expressed his position about religion being the most confusing thing in the country now. Where a lot of Nigerians, instead of becoming the best of themselves by acting on things they need to do to make the best out of their lives, are now hiding under the religion to claim God will do what you can do for yourself.
Exactly.
He went further. That's the Duke of Shomolu now, to say, even this boy, what he has said, the way he has said it, there are faults in it. And that the fact that he is against religion does not mean that he must give that guy kudos for saying those things the way he said them. And that, for me, is the basis of the analysis. You did one video where you called him that boy, Adeboye. Can be your boy now.
It is something else, man.
Yes, it can be your boy. But not when you use language like stupid and foolish. You have gone beyond the bar.
That was too much.
So when you look at all the statements that have been made, including the one issued by the Office of the Principal Executive Assistant to the General Overseer himself, then you know that those points remain valid and can never be invalidated by anything, no matter the argument, no matter the opinion you have. Two things. Number one, you cannot use a foul language because culturally it is not acceptable. Not to now talk of using it on somebody who is older than you.
Yeah.
Number two, you cannot use a foul language because legally it is wrong. And those are the two foundations on which those arguments rest. And if you look at the statement issued by the Office of this Executive Assistant to the General Overseer, it speaks to those two. I wish you can just, let's run through it very quickly so that people can understand the basis of that argument before we go into what can happen after now.
It says, clarification on the ongoing investigation regarding Olumide Ogunsowo, that is seeking. There has been a video in circulation calling for the release of Olumide Ogunsowo seeking by Pastor Enoch Adejare Adeboye. However, it is important to note that earlier videos containing potentially defamatory statements had not been thoroughly examined. Upon careful review of the concerns raised regarding certain statements and allegations, it has become necessary to allow the law to take its course. It is important to properly understand Pastor Enoch Adejare Adeboye's statement during the Holy Ghost service night on Saturday regarding Olumide Ogunsanwo. The church does not intend to interfere with the ongoing police investigation, especially as there is an official complaint filed by the concerned Christian Youth Forum against Olumide Ogunsanwo John and others on behalf of the fathers of faith, including Pastor Enoch Adejare Adeboye. Therefore, we trust that the relevant authorities will carry out their investigations professionally and reach a just conclusion based on the law. While Pastor Enoch Adejare Adeboye maintains a heart of love and reconciliation, due process must be followed. We also caution against cyberbullying and inappropriate commentary regarding Pastor Enoch Adejare Adeboye, the Redeemed Christian Church of God, and the body of Christ at large. Furthermore, the church encourages respectful discourse and will continue to promote a culture of honor while discouraging defamatory and disrespectful statements. Respect for spiritual leaders is a deeply held value in our faith and culture. We encourage all to engage in constructive and respectful discussions, honoring those who have labored in the faith.
Yeah.
Well said.
You can see
Well said.
what we've been talking about. Those two anchors are important to note. Our culture and the law. And then you can see one part of it that has made it a more serious matter. The involvement of other men of God.
Yes.
Those they refer to as fathers of
Fathers of faith.
Meaning that, see, Pastor Adeboye could have a large heart. But there were two things, if you recall, like I said yesterday, when we had the initial video. It is not impossible, and it's been established by this statement, that Pastor Adeboye was not aware of the gravity of those videos. Perhaps he didn't see some of them. If you read the first paragraph, where it said other videos that they had not been analyzed. Meaning that is not just one. And I have a feeling that there are other people they are going to go after over this matter. Number two is the sensibility of people and religion. You don't, let's even forget him being a John, who is supposed to be a Christian. But you don't trample on people's religion that way. I also, as a Christian, I disagree with religion that brainwashes people. We've had some of these conversations in the past where I have clearly stated that even people like Pastor Adeboye, no matter how agitated they feel about certain things, should not make certain pronouncements in the public. Rather, what they should do is to pray, not throw things into the public that can affect their image. It's important. And this time I'm not just talking about Pastor Adeboye. I'm talking about all pastors, all sheikhs, all imams.
Religious leaders.
We must be able to see you as a mirror of the society that we want. That's always my position. Everything that is contrary to that, they must bury. But that is still not a license for the likes of seeking to go around trampling on other people's sensibilities attached to religion. Religion doesn't make anybody stupid. It should make you wiser. If you see somebody who is doing what is not supposed to be done, for instance, there have been pastors who have stood on the pulpits on the pulpit to criticize other pastors,
Yeah.
including Pastor Adeboye, including Bishop David Oyedepo. But that criticism was constructive. It pointed out the flaws and it showed where to go. But not like somebody abusing the other person without justification, saying he's stupid, he's foolish. That does, you can't justify that no matter how hard you try. You can't justify it. And that's what he did. Raising unnecessary dust where there should be none. Even those who don't believe in some of these things, they still know that you don't hurt the sensibilities of others when it comes to religion. Because in this part of the world, we still hold religion so dearly.
Yes.
And that's why I'm tempted now to read in full what the Duke of Shomolu, Joseph Edgar, wrote.
Okay.
And which he titled The Villain. The villain in quotes called Seeking. And the villain also in quotes called Adeboye. Let me quickly run through it.
Okay.
It's been an exciting period for the police. They have been very busy chasing down cyber criminals, from Showore to Seeking to Akwi and my brother Dele Farotimi to Burna Boy. It has been a truly busy season for the police. Public requests come in different forms, from the elegant format of a Funsho Duarte to the angst of Dele Farotimi to the mercurial Showore and the fact-laden style of Gani Fawemi, which seems to have gone into extinction. The fine art of public criticism and activism seems to be experiencing a rebirth. Fueled by the ease of social media, the word is, and its far-reaching capacity, voices have been heard much more stringently than ever. And this is giving authorities a lot of stress in trying to maintain civility. This boy Seeking now comes with a style that I must quickly say is abhorrent. He's lacing his position with vile, disrespectful abuse. He curses out his opponents, garnishing out his thoughts with poisonous abuse, vehement verbal carnage, and disrespectful diss, which makes one begin to wonder if he's on a suicide mission.
Wow.
His latest target, the very well-respected Pastor Adeboye, has really suffered at his hands. The abuses hurled at the old man were so nerve-wracking that I switched off and stopped listening. Nobody, not even Hitler, deserves that kind of umbrage, no matter what. And you cannot hide under freedom of speech to launch such a venomous attack on people. It's not right and not fair. It is abhorrent and must be stamped out in public discourse. Pastor Adeboye, in my eye, is a major contributor to the problems we face in the society. His religion, at worst, numbs the mind, moves people into apathy, and gives them false hope of an eternity in the long run, despite their devilish short-term sufferings. This now gives the oppressors the leverage to pillage and mess up with our lives. As we are getting the flogging from our politicians, people like Pastor Adeboye will stand aside and say, "Oh, don't worry, it will be okay when you get to heaven." Meanwhile, send me your tithe so that I can prepare you for when you come.
Wow. Wow.
The fact that the grouping he represents wallows in material comfort while still admonishing us to turn the other eye is what is fueling this kind of anger. The frustration of a generation lost, the rudderless leadership by political and religious leaders, all feeding into the kind of raw anger that this boy Seeking is showing, is palpable. Pastor Adeboye, unlike the rest, is not even helping his case with some of his postulations. It seems like he's mocking us. Prayer to old Naira, drinking tea with God, and some of his other recorded gifts really do look as if he's laughing at us while he marinates in the juices of his chosen calling. This boy Seeking is going about it the wrong way. I mean, must be admonished. He must be taught how to engage with logic and facts and not with such vile language. You cannot use those words to be hard. You cannot abuse so vehemently because you are that upset, because it will mean that you are no better than them. A man cannot use religion to hypnotize millions like these churches have done, move them to lethargic stupor, and now say they are drinking tea with their God. And in response, is seeking now all idiotic missiles at him or at what he represents. Because it's a whole lot of generation. He's representing a whole lot of people, millions. That the man is abusing. That's why you have the father of faith in that thing. Let me continue. Then there is no true difference, because from both, there is no respite for the vast majority of the people. I do not support seeking and do not believe that these utterances can be protected by his rights, and the authorities are doing right in arresting him within the ambience of the law. But that said, someone should even have the courage to ask Pastor Adeboye to respect our sensibilities. He should worship his God and avoid trying to play politics using his God as a justification. It's not working. An elder must respect himself if he wants to be respected. I don't think this Baba is putting himself in a position of respect.
Yes, Baba.
Someone should just kindly tell him and save his legacy and reputation from further damage. I tell you. Come and beat me, he said. That's the Duke. Now, like I said, you see that he has spoken to both ends. I also disagree with some use of language in that. But I'm saying a man cannot just come and say you are stupid. But you can point it out to him. You did not talk when this thing happened now.
Yes.
You should have spoken up, Papa. We expect that of you. Or this thing that you said about this. And you see, for those who get it right, like the Adeboye, let me use that because it's somebody I also hold in high esteem. When they err, they come back to apologize. I'm sure you have heard that in the sermon once or twice. We say, what I said last week was not in the Bible. I've gone back to do my research. And that's where some people are getting it wrong. Because there is no one who has everything 100% right. So sometimes, and like he said on this second issue, he said that you not even call on him to come and fast. If you can't do the fast as a John, I didn't call you specifically to fast. So why the abuse? And then you now find out that he had done one before. Which is what the church pointed out in the first paragraph, that they had not looked at the other videos, which he and some others have done. And that's why this position is coming, that even Baba Adeboye, like the church said, does not have a right to go and interfere in that case. It's gone to the police. And it was not even initiated by RCCG. It was initiated by another forum.
So how do you think this will end now? Because we thought it was a trivial thing before, but now it looks like more parties are interested.
I come in peace. See, I will always come in peace because the society is heated up already.
Yes, you know.
Everybody is on the edge.
Yes.
These days, when anybody hits me when I'm driving, what I do, especially when it's the yellow buses in Lagos, is that I will park. We will both park. And then we will talk, especially on days when I'm not in a hurry, especially when I'm going home, and talk for like 30 minutes. So that whatever is pushing you, driving you, is already coming down. So that we don't need to fight. I don't need to come out of my car and pull my shirt, and then you don't know where the man is coming from, whether his wife slapped me before leaving the house, that he should go and bring money. Then it will now be, now here we will die. Nobody will die, but we will both stay, spend about 15, 20, 30 minutes. Then you would have calmed down. and then we can go.
Mm.
Because the country is already heated up.
Mm.
And that is why, in a way, unapologetically, people are turning to religion for relief.
Yes.
The
Sure.
things that we can do for ourselves, we are turning to God to do for us.
Exactly.
And that is what gives some public commentators this idea that when a pastor speaks, he's speaking from a point of milking the people. But what is he saying? Have we sat down to consider the wider implications of what these pastors are teaching? To see how we can push it into our everyday life. You know, but a lot of people don't see it. There is no church now, seriously, that is what it sought, that will tell you that if you don't pay tithe, you won't go to heaven. Nobody does that again. They only tell you that it is a function of your belief.
Exactly.
If you believe that if you pay your tithe, something good will happen, or that you are helping the society. But not that if you don't pay tithe, you won't go to heaven. Where is it written in the Bible? People are, so these days you also need to be able to look at those things yourself. But we don't need people to insult our leaders.
Yes.
In order to...
If you don't believe in what they are saying, just
stay where you are.
Mind your business. Exactly. You don't have to...
and don't insult the sensibilities of those who believe in such touchy matter. Religion. We've seen what religion and tribal issues, what they've caused in this country and outside of it. I'm sure a country like Rwanda will never forget what it means to toy with tribal sentiments and religion. Rwanda can't forget. Other countries like that, they can't forget. But we are here to learn our own lesson. And we trivialize this thing until when it becomes a problem. Imagine Christians now decide, because he has abused Pastor Adeboye, he must go and look for his father's house and burn the place up. What happens? Is that not the beginning of a problem?
Yes, it is. Should not get there.
We shouldn't get there at all. We should respect other people's sensibilities. Like I said, I come in peace. Let them resolve this thing. This boy is young.
I don't know.
He's young. He needs a proper orientation. But it's gradually becoming their style, the Gen Zs. It's gradually becoming a norm that we should not accept in our society. It shouldn't be. I
agree.
It shouldn't.
Shouldn't be. We'll definitely let you know how this turns out or what happens eventually. So watch out for the updates. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and also follow us on all our social media handles at The Eagle Online, and share this video. We'll see you next time.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.